Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, Head Currency Analyst. In this video, we're going to take a look at some major currency pairs. We're going to look at the Forex market outlook and talk about a couple of key things. So last week we spoke about the dollar in depth, and we talked about the potential for the dollar index to continue to push to the downside and potentially break that $92, and just reiterated how important $92 was to the dollar index. Price broke below that, closed below that on the week. That is kind of like a first sort of sign that the dollar weakness could continue. Obviously, I would like to see a second week close below that 92 level to then really look for further downside. But what we can do is just take a look at some majors and just have a look at where prices are on the major currency pairs. And I really like the potential for euro to break a little bit higher. And there's a couple of areas which I want to see happen, or what I'm thinking can happen going into this week. We had a really nice bullish week going in on euro, breaking back above this sort of recent swing high, which was around about 1925, where the market kind of found some sellers recently, and price has broken above that little area. But that area may be an area that we look at as we go down into the lower time frames. But essentially, we have this key 1.2 level sitting right above, which is quite close to where the area of price is right now, and I'm expecting a little bit of upside to come into that 1.2 level. Now, if price breaks above that 1.2, then obviously I think there's going to be a bit of further upside, maybe into 1.22, which is all this interaction over here back in 2018. So that's only like if we break above that area, and we may only do that sort of going into this week, and next week we may look at that 122. But going into the 4-hour time frame, I always look at the 4-hour time frame to really give me the sort of key in what's going on in terms of trend. Now, what we did get sort of going into last week, if I just zoom out a little bit and just make sure I squeeze in all this data, we had this sort of little bit of a change in trend coming in through here. Okay, now typically I look for two closes below the sort of previous low, which was here. Now, we did get those two closes, but it wasn't very convincing. We had a really bearish candlestick, and then we just kind of started to close back above. So what this really was a little bit of a false breakout, and price continued that 4-hour trend to the upside. And that's what I always look for. I always look to see how that 4-hour trend is playing out, because typically the market will stay in line with that 4-hour trend. So at the moment, we're in an uptrend. We have previous structure highs coming in here, which is around about 1940. And then we have previous structure lows, which is down through here, which is around about 1885, 1890. Okay, this is going to be key for us going into this week, or at least the start of this week. Okay, what are we going to see? Are we going to see the market rally up into 1.2 first and react and maybe get some bearishness going on, or are we going to break out, or are we going to pull back first at the start of the week? Are we going to retest this structure? Now, I think we're okay to continue to look for longs as long as price remains above these lows. Okay, so if the market doesn't remain above these lows and we sort of break to the downside, then I think we could see that dollar sort of weakness fading, and we could be seeing a bit of strength coming back into the market, because we are still around, like I said, that $92 level. So it's still got to be something that we consider when looking at the markets at the moment. Now, I'm still thinking the dollar's going to react with the seasonals, and that dollar bearishness is going to come in. So I'm not really expecting that break to the downside, but we have to look at both sides of the coin here and see what potential could happen. So if price starts trading below this sort of 1884 area, 1885, then I would consider a bit of a dollar bullish week. However, at the moment, everything's in a bullish uptrend. I'm expecting further upside. It's just, how does price react at 1.2? Will it break? Will it bounce? We'll have to have a little look when it comes to it. Kiwi, very strong at the moment. Kiwi continuing to break to the upside. We're actually just taking out these previous structure highs again, kind of in that sort of situation of breaking out of a level, Are we going to continue to see that bullishness, or are we going to see a bit of a pullback? This is going to be a key one for us this week. May even look at not really trading Kiwi much, just seeing how price does react at this level, because if we do get a false breakout here, then we could maybe see some pullbacks into this level. But like I said, I'm expecting the dollar to weaken slightly. So, you know, the pullback isn't highly likely. We'll have to see how price does react early in the week. But essentially, if price continues to move to the upside, we could still see a retest of around about 0.7050. It's this kind of previous structure area here, and then a reaction. So again, 4-hour trend is going to be key. The 4-hour trend is very, very tight at the moment, as in, you know, we can see that it's in this sort of channel through here. The market is very much becoming a little bit stuck in terms of we're just getting very tight rallies up now. So I would anticipate if we were to kind of hit that 0.705 that we would get some kind of pullback. I'd love to be a buyer again back down into the 0.68, but again, we'll have to wait to see how price does react to this at the moment. But 4-hour, very, very tight range going on here at the moment, whereas euro, we've got some decent room to the upside. Dollar CAD's super interesting again. We talked about this before, price being at 1.3, and what we talked about was the fact that despite price was at 1.3, oil was rallying, and you know, I was looking at the WTI prices, and I was looking at the fact that if price was to break and trade above $45, then I'd be happily looking for dollar CAD to break lower. So if I just actually, let me just jump onto this gold chart a second, and we just bring in the market watch, and I just go down into oil and just bring this onto the screen. We can clearly see at the moment oil is trading above that $44 level, and you know, this is a huge level on oil recently, and price could be about to continue to push a little bit higher, and if that does continue, I think dollar CAD's going to take out 1.3, and we can see this market drop a little bit further as well. So two markets at very, very important levels. WTI breaking above here could really be the sign of dollar CAD breaking to the downside. So 3 interesting charts to really take a look at. Euro dollar showing us that that dollar is weak at the moment, as well as Kiwi. Kiwi's in a bit of a tight trading range, so it'll be interesting to see how this performs going into this week. Dollar CAD back to 1.3. Let's see how oil reacts. If oil continues to push higher, maybe even retesting these sort of structure lows around about $50, I think dollar CAD will break, and I think dollar CAD will end up heading towards some major swing lows, whether it be back into sort of 125s or even just these sort of smaller lows around about 127.60s. So keep an eye on that this week. I hope you enjoyed the video update, and I'll speak to you soon.